think so. One reason. So I think if we increase the complexity, we can support multiple accepting states.
I mean, the very basic example would be something like this, where the DFA would be something like this. So this has like two accepting states.
Yeah.
And this is the min DFA, like you can't compress it now. Yeah, but coming to the circom. So in circom what happens is like there is number of bytes, which is the input byte that you give, and then it has a for loop which runs for the number of bytes. And so what it does is it has all the logic here. For example, let's suppose we want to parse A and B. So A is 97 in ASCII and this is 98. So what happens is like, okay, it inputs in a AND operator that, okay, I'm feeding in 97. Then let's suppose in is the input. So it will then try to do in I, then it will try to feed it. If it'll try to match. If it matches, then it saves it in a state, and then it runs ahead. So in the exact, like in the continuation, there would also be a logic of AND 98. The exact same thing would be happening. And then it will go on. But the thing is like, this loop will run for all like the length of number of bytes. And let's suppose we are parsing this. So this was the regex and we are parsing this. In the first case, only this much amount of logic is required. And in the second case, this much amount of logic is required. But everything is in the same loop, and the loop is running iteratively for the length of number of bytes. And what the issue is basically, if the loop passes, regardless of what is in front, it'll still output 1. So it's like you can't anchor it basically. This is the current implementation. I can even show you the code. Can you hold this one? Did this make a bit sense?
No, I get this part, but what exactly is anchoring?
Sorry?
What is anchoring?
Anchoring is basically, so anchoring is like, okay, this means that this is a valid string,
Yeah.
and this is not a valid string. But this means this is a valid string and this is also a valid string. So this is anchoring, means you want to start the string with A.
Oh, okay.
So the thing is, right now, even when we're trying to anchor, both of them are getting accepted because the logic will be defined such as A and B, so it would be 97, 98, and this part will also pass this.
Okay.
So I think basically if we want to handle this regex, this definition is long. So I think correct definition is here we also have a regex like if the input string is go to the yeah.
So there is this one thing. The initial implementation of the DFA was like really hacky in nature, which I feel also resulted in the circom implementation to be hacky, like that 94 thing and all. Like, so right
the
now,
Rust implementation was a rewrite, right?
So yeah, so what I'm trying to say, the Rust implementation is a rewrite. That is, the DFAs are getting constructed perfectly. So I think it is better for us to think from like back to like square one. So like if this is a DFA, what's the best construction for a circom from this DFA, and not try to make this work basically. Like I think that is better because the DFAs are getting perfectly constructed, but the conversion to a circom, we don't know like what logic to do because the current.
I also think that it seems like a somewhat small change from here to be able to make it work for your new DFA setup now.
The thing is like this one is I think also like inefficient.
So what would you recommend? Also, sorry, you were gonna finish. You had a sentence you wanted to finish earlier, right?
Yeah. So I just want to say, so the current compiler has bug because it does not handle this character. Caret as not as a standard character, but as some special character in the external library. So by fixing that, we can just fix this problem that client logic that does not handle this starting point correctly. So it is not a difficult problem to solve.
No, so one more thing with the implementation of circom is that right now it doesn't factor in multiple accepting states. So that is also issue. Like we would have to, I think, I don't think so. Even they pointed that out, but that is like obviously an issue which I know there is, because this implementation only caters to one accepting state.
Well, they mentioned some issues with accepting things that weren't supposed to be accepted.
Yeah, but like, what I'm trying to say, like that would also
Yeah, sure.
basically
Like not accepting what was supposed
So
to be
the
accepted.
bug we had was because like if the input string have like two matches, the last one becomes the reveal part.
Forget reveal part.
Oh.
Forget reveal part.
And that's why the
No,
AB
they,
thing
it
was
is
messing
accepted
up.
as like, or the problem is like the circumpolar returns match found or not, right? Not how many times match found.
Yeah, a match found or not, and where the match is found.
Yeah, so the issue is like if you have two matches, the match found is still one, and the
But you can reveal. You can have two reveals.
No, to like one reveal portion, but like in the actual input, you like the same value appears twice. Let's say BH equal to something
Oh, so
and
you're
BH
saying
equal to something.
this and the input is this.
Yeah, even like something in the middle as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And like
So-
yeah, something like C.
So what happens now is out is
One.
one, and reveal start from here.
Oh yeah.
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 So this
But
is
it-
how. Huh?
That doesn't explain to me why,
Mm.
like, we had their counterexample was they showed this, and then this example revealed all three of these, but this doesn't explain that, right?
No, this still
No,
works, right?
this.
And so this, when you reveal, should only output AB.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
in our code, it outputs ABB, which this doesn't explain to me why this happens.
So I think it should be a bug of the some part, and so I think the rated part is this part. So it checks that each character is a
Yeah.
consecutive
Yeah.
string of the string
Yeah.
which matches with the entire
Yes,
string.
yeah.
But
Mm.
I think its consecutive value of this character is 1 because it's the last character. That's right. Yeah, I'm not sure. So I have to check the value of this verse for this regex.
Okay.
But I think it's a bug related to these folders.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yes.
I probably agree with that. Check is two.
So I think right now is like out is 0 or 1, right?
Yeah.
We can.
So it's like
output
either you
num.
caught that regex or you didn't.
Yeah. We cannot have the number of matches here because you could have like multiple reveals, multiple distinct reveals.
I mean, we can. I think we can.
And we can say out equals 1, like matches equals 2 or something, right?
Like so for each of these you need to specify how many matches happened.
Yeah, because
Right, not for the
because
not the total.
right now I think it just has like a multi-or where we say okay, even if you're caught like at least once, then it's true. So
Yeah.
instead of or, we can
Yeah.
just add them up and see the number
Yeah, I
of
mean
matches.
it could like a documentation is probably enough. The issue is like the reveal start from the last one, and so like that's how the Sunil guy constructed the bug in ZKML.
Yeah.
That was like really clever.
Yeah, that was sick.
So
He really read the code.
Yeah. So I don't know how he figured out like you can get the last one. So what he did is like you have that email signature, right?
Yeah.
And it has BH equal to the body
Yeah,
hash.
yeah. Oh, so he had BHE.
He had
equals
another
at-
BH equal to
at
whatever
at the
hash
end,
he
and
wanted.
that was getting revealed first. So that was getting.
No, the last one gets revealed.
the last one gets revealed first.
So our signature verification passes.
Yeah.
But he can put prove like anybody.
Yeah.
And because we had like max limit, there were like enough space to put another body hash.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I wonder if we should,
Or
in general, reveal the first match instead of the last match. or
Yeah,
I mean,
that would be
technically,
one
logically,
way.
it should be like how many matches.
How many matches make sense? But what
Yeah.
if like you like in one regex you have like two different kind of reveals? Then you need to do output like,
I mean, it can be a vector of vector sort of.
but like you don't know at compile time how many vectors it's going to be.
Yeah, and circum needs to be deterministic.
Yes, yes. So yeah, it's not. We can probably output like the total matches, and maybe that's
Or
useful.
like all the matching tests.
Yeah, all of the matching total. So
I
if it's
like
only
that.
one, then that's the verifier can verify.
But we should be doing that right now, no? Like, I thought it was the case that we revealed the is consecutive states, and here the is consecutive transition should be the same, they should all be in the reveal,
Yeah.
right?
I think
So I'm-
it is in the review. Like, do we have an example for this? I think we do.
Okay.
So basically, when I designed
Maybe
the
I'm-
GK Regex
I
compiler,
could be wrong, and then he revealed both, and like just use the index of the
I think
last
the
one.
length, yeah, the index changed here, not the regex.
Okay, maybe the reveal have both.
Yeah,
but
I think the reveal had both,
You
and then
just
he
choose the
changed
last
the
index.
index here.
Okay,
So
maybe
that was the explanation.
Okay.
Yeah.
But still, like the verifier needs to know like if it's only one or two,
Yeah, I think we should
just
add
to
matches,
enforce
yeah.
that.
And then Sora, you were saying?
sorry. So I think when I was designing the GK Regex compiler, I don't assume such pattern which the character has more than one pattern of the one pattern which matches with the
Yeah.
regex. So I have not tested this kind of character.
Yeah, we should add it as a test,
Yeah.
but my hunch is that because it's consecutive,
Yeah.
reveals consecutive states, these should be the same state. My
Yeah.
hunch is it'll reveal both.
I
Okay.
think so, yeah.
Could be,
Yeah.
So what we can do is we can just add another value, or instead of this one, okay, out is 0, 1 should be there. We can add another parameter matches, which is like a
Exactly.
total matches.
Correct, yeah.
And like the circuit developer knows what is the expected value.
Yeah.
So that's
Okay, but okay, so these are like
okay. That's a like separate thing.
secondary things, yeah.
Yeah.
Because like, how do we do the actual state change? Like, how do we mimic DFA in Circom?
Huh.
So,
Like
I
you're saying,
mean,
how does that code work?
Just
No,
for
no,
this
no.
fix, that's what Sora said work.
No, so I'll just give you an example. So for example, this is the email address JSON. So it's like the most simplest one, and I think I've created a more simpler one as well. Okay, so this just had like cap A and B, and this was the logic for this. So what the number of bytes here should be 2. So should be 2 for input A and B. But right now, because I think he wanted to have that caret as well, so there is like message bytes plus 1, which I don't think so. This is required. This can just be like message bytes.
No, I think we need +1 to account for the starting character.
No, but like the input is just A and B. Caret A and B is the regex, not the input.
No, but we need to consider the first character as the null character, not as A.
From the input string.
Yeah.
No, the input string would be
Input string is
97, 98.
Yes. So it's a dummy input, and
No,
this
so,
is
but it's a dummy input because a state, you need to express
yeah.
characters +1 states.
I didn't get you.
Oh, show me what it's for.
So the
So num bytes is same.
It's
Yeah,
message
but
message
bytes
bytes
the
plus
number of
1.
states is message bytes +2, right? Because you need the state of the initial character and the end character and each character of the
yeah,
string.
but the loop doesn't need to run for like number bytes. It can be bytes and underscore.
No,
message.
it needs to run for num bytes because you're updating the state for every single value in the state array.
Yes.
In fact,
Okay, so
maybe
you're
it should
saying
even be
okay,
num
so,
bytes
the,
+1.
so,
yeah.
so you're saying for the input length of 2, there would be 3 states. So you're updating it for 3 times.
Maybe even 4, but yeah,
Yeah.
3 states that we update. Yeah.
Yeah, but so here my only issue is like, okay, for A only this part is getting used,
Yeah.
and for B only this part is getting used, but the loop is running completely both.
I
times.
think in that's how like that's the only way you can do in Circum.
Okay, but then again, okay, so this can't be changed. But like, how do we handle anchoring then in this particular case? Because even if it passes somewhere later down the line, it is still parsing. So like, we need to have the check. Like, okay, if this is the first byte and only then you start to match everything. Like, how do we?
That's why we have the initial state, right? Like that's why there's 3 states instead of 2, because the first state always starts as what the state would be if there was a caret here, right? So like whatever. So these are our like 3 states, and this is our string, and this is our like regex or something, right? Then like
So where's the first state that you were talking about?
So, this
so-
sorry.
go ahead.
So this current generated circuit is long because of the error of some miss not correct implementation of the compiler set, because it does not handle this word.
Yeah,
and
exactly. So I mean, this is supposed to pass only A and B, and something like after that can come as well. But this will pass one A and B as well, because A and B somewhere later down the line will still satisfy the loop.
No, but like what I'm saying with the anchor is that like when you actually do this transition between the states, and this is the blank state, right? So you say when we transfer from 0 to 1,
Yeah.
if there's a caret in the regex, then it'll have a logic saying, like, interpret this character effectively as this caret character. So now transfer to like, this is state like 0, 1, 2, now transfer to state 1, and then now transfer to state 2. And this will only happen if you have this starting character in the beginning, or you have like whatever, a /n and then this starting character. But I don't think we've incorporated /n starting character into our logic.
So the thing is, the DFA is not getting constructed so easily. So the DFA is like this. For example, if I have A and B, which is unanchored, it has like a really complex DFA, which is doing like something. So
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is to handle all the UTF-8
Yeah.
before A, infinite amount of times.
Yeah.
And then it reaches to some like logic which has like A transition,
Yeah.
and then it moves and does B. And if it is unanchored, it has this weird logic to handle UTF-8 again. Now the question is like, okay, if we have this, then it is as simple as just like having 1 and then transitioning to like by the state change of A. How are we catering this? Like, that's my only thing, because if I have the cap, I wouldn't know I have a cap. I'll just have a regex which is like this complicated. Like, I will just have this DFA. I wouldn't have that cap or something, because when the user is inputting, like, I'll just have a DFA constructed, basically. That's my point.
Sorry, but when you have a caret in your regex,
Yeah.
in the beginning of the DFA, you'll have a note which is like, if empty state, then go to the next state.
If I have a caret, then in the DFA, DFA doesn't have any nodes or something. It's just states and transitions.
So you would have a transition from like first character to next character based on a caret. And in the existing zk-regex compiler, I think we manually put this in.
No. So this will never have a caret. The entire DFA will never have a caret, because caret is not a character.
But it effectively represents /n, right? And all
No.
things. But you just said /n, then caret means start of line and it's satisfied.
Yeah, so this means that new line should start with this, but that doesn't mean this is a character. That's just a representation of something in regex. It means something in regex, but this is not an independent character. So this will never appear in a transition.
Yes. So this is how current our client compiler works.
Yeah, this is how the
Yeah.
current compiler works.
Right.
In the unanchored version. In the
Yeah.
anchored version, it is simple like this. And also one more thing, we will come to the dollar end anchor later, but there's some issues there.
So your question here is effectively, how do we handle carets?
Yeah, basically it's like the DFA is constructed fine, but how do we want to like go from this to this basically? Like, how do we want to implement the circum logic for this?
Like, I think the way we had the circum logic
No,
was...
so there was this one thing which I wanted to like have a loop around, and I don't know how robust it would be, but it was like still to have this, because
Yeah.
this was like really neat implementation. Handling this is way too complicated, and I can catch if the user has put an anchor. So basically, at the end of the day, it would effectively be something like this. The regex will still go in between. The entire thing will still be anchored, but whatever is going in between, I can have it anchored, so I can know if the user is trying to anchor or not, and I can have a Boolean value, and depending on the Boolean value, I can construct the circum differently, where it is forced to start, like, I don't know, if it's like something like this, then I can force the circum to start with A, and if anything else is there, then we can just output 0.
So you mean, for example, if this character has an anchor, then instead of just making a constant like right, ER is equal to 97, it also checks that I equals 0, and if the both conditions hold, the state transition from 0 to from by the first A holds, right?
So, but it's not just 0. Like, the problem is also /n's like we also need to satisfy the /n caret AB needs to be satisfied. So, like the case you're suggesting only holds if caret refers to the first character of the string. So I think we need to have a little more complex logic to handle the /n as well.
I mean, if we forget this for a second, then I think our compiler works fine for unanchored cases. In the sense, like,
yeah, but most of our regexes have an anchor in them.
Yeah, no, the thing is, like, so it's a bit complicated. When the user is inputting the regex, we are creating an anchored DFA, But because the anchor DFA is handled wrong in the circum implementation, the circum implementation acts like an unanchored implementation. Because in circum, it doesn't know whether it is starting with 97 or what. As long as this loop satisfies, it'll output 1.
But our old circum code handled starting characters.
Yeah, but that is like a very, like in the old circum case, it was literally checking if, and that only worked for the start of the character. Like
Yeah.
it would fail for this.
It did fail for that, that's true, yeah.
So that's like a very feeble implementation, I think.
Right, you're right.
So I'm still of the notion that the regex should be anchored.
Wait, why? I don't understand why the regex should be anchored.
Because that has a really clean DFA as compared to something like this.
But why don't you just print that then? Print in the console. Note that your DFA will be reduced by 40% constraints if you anchor.
No, when I'm saying like having an anchored DFA, I'm not saying like we should not support unanchored. I'm saying the regex should construct an anchored DFA, and for handling anchoring and unanchoring, then we can, so let's suppose the user passes something like this.
Okay.
Or this. In both the cases, the DFA would be same, but I can catch whether the anchoring has been done by the user or not, and depending on this catching, the circum implementation can change. That's what I'm trying to say. Because at least the DFAs would be way cleaner if both of them would be anchored.
I understand what you want to do, but I'm just not sure how can we do it efficiently, as efficient as our old approach, which changes the DFA itself based on the anchor.
Can't we have like just like a really small line in which we say, okay, if the first input character does not match the first input character of the regex, then just fail.
You still have to do it like in circum.
In circum, yeah.
No, but you still have to do all the compute, right? And in the end, you can do this if else check and then like put the other one to 0. But you cannot have like random if else.
Yeah, but I think like what I'm talking is only for like the most simplest version. I don't know like how this would be catered. Or if we go with the complex DFA, like okay, this is still fine because the DFA is getting generated fine. It's just really complex. Then how are we handling this thing?
I'm confused. How does a DFA handle the case where I say /n caret AB? Like, how is that represented in the DFA?
Because /n is also an ASCII character.
So, in that case, the DFA would constrain /n directly goes to A, or else it goes to some exit state.
Yep.
And that is already handled in the DFA generation.
Yeah.
And then, okay, and then for OR caret.
That is also handled by the DFA.
Okay.
So it's like something like this means that either it is HD or it is D.
Start D.
And let's suppose it has $ as well.
Or start D, right? Because HD can appear anywhere.
Yeah, HD can appear anywhere, so like something can be before this as well.
Sure.
Yeah, but it's ending with D because of $. Just like. So I remember seeing the anchoring in this way in our use cases for emails.
Yeah.
But all of them don't start with. So for example, I think the DKIM signature one, it has like something like DKIM signature or this.
Yeah.
And the thing is like this never comes because DKIM signature is never the starting of the
No, it's
email.
/r/n or this, and it is sometimes that.
Oh, /n/r, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but again, it is always /r/n. It is never the actual start of the email.
No, if the
The header
is
header.
Yeah, when I'm talking about the header,
It's not always /r/n.
so for like all the fields, I don't remember which field the header.
So from, I've seen it in the first position,
Yeah.
and the from requires to say /r/n or start, because sometimes from is literally the first field in the header.
Okay. Then we would need the caret at the start
Yes.
again.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think can we change the logic for the circom such
Yeah,
that it has like a one-to-one representation of the DFA? Because right now it does not have the one-to-one representation of DFA.
So what do you mean one-to-one here?
One-to-one, what do I mean by one-to-one is like, even if I have a DFA such as like this, what SOCOM is doing like is something like this, and this basically means like, this does not mean this. Because it means like if I have something like CCAB, this thing will still pass. But it shouldn't have, because the starting should be like,
No, CCAB passes for the regex A.
it does
Yeah,
not
yeah.
pass for this DFA, because this means this. This
No. Our compiler should take an A
yep.
as the regex the user inputs and the string CCAB, and it should pass.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to say is that, let's suppose this is the regex which user inputs.
No. User inputs just A.
No, this is the freedom by the user. If the user inputs only
Yeah.
A, then that's an unanchored regex. That means anything can be before or after A.
And so, but I expect, like, okay, the example up there, the H caret D
Yeah.
with no $sign, would you call that an unanchored regex?
It's partially regex, partially anchored, because this can also be there. So it can be, this can be this.
But
or
I
this.
guess like the thing that I'm confused by is if a user can specify optionally, sometimes we have the caret, sometimes we don't, sometimes we have the $sign, we don't. The distinction between anchored and unanchored doesn't make sense, right?
No, so basically it's like if the user doesn't specify the anchors, by default it should be unanchored, because the user only
Correct, yes.
Yeah, because the user only wants that. If you find this anywhere in the message, capture it for me.
Oh, so you're saying this DFA 1A2 corresponds to that only
To
that
the
anchor.
anchor one, it's like the user is saying, I want.
So this is the regex the user input, and that gives that, and that
Yeah.
should not match that.
Then that should not match that, but in the current implementation, if the input is this, it is matching this.
Because we don't have any logic for caret and $sign.
Exactly, in Circom.
Okay.
We have no logic in the sense like this should be the starting
Yeah,
state
we should
of
absolutely add that, yeah.
Yeah,
correct.
but I don't know how to add that. I mean, I haven't written Circom like at least in prod or something, so I wouldn't be able to answer that. So that's why I wanted this logic to change basically.
I guess the thing I'm worried about is, it's clear to me how to handle caret when it refers to beginning of string.
Yeah,
But
so,
it's unclear to me how to handle caret in the context of it being like /n caret or
so,
something.
so this is what I'm proposing. Like, as long as we have a DFA and we have like a one-to-one, so this is what I mean by a one-to-one implementation of a DFA to Circom. Like in the current one, it is not a one-to-one implementation.
Yeah.
Okay, so if the crate or the regex crate from Rust is doing everything for us, is doing everything for us, the DFAs are constructed by them in like, let's assume perfectly, then we don't need to handle the caret and like dollar, all the anchoring things, and we just need to see how to convert it into Circom correctly.
So you mean the generated DFA can correctly change the state for the caret or such thing?
Yeah. I mean, I just want like, for example, I have this DFA. Can you like try to have a Circom implementation where only this passes? Like only if I have 97 it would pass.
So I think so in this so the big difference of this approach, current approach and your new approach is, so in the current approach, if there is no any matching character, we always say the current state is 0. But in your new approach, if there is any no matching character, the character will be the state will be some invalid state, and no state transition happen forever, right?
Can you just repeat the last part?
Okay, so if there is no corresponding state transition at
Yes.
some character,
Yes.
the state will go to not 0 but some invalid state, and after that there no state transition will.
Yeah, so this, exactly. So this is what I'm trying to say. If there is no state transition, it should fail immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that doesn't exist in Circom.
I mean, some loop around or like
No,
work around.
no.
Yeah, so
you
actually, the how to GKML was based on that idea. But one problem is, in that case, users have to specify some random all catching UTF strings, and it makes.
That's fine. The DFA will get constructed in a way.
Yeah,
that
it's possible, but my concern is additional cost to check these are any UTF captures, because, for example, I think if we generate the regex we first suppose random any UTF characters for arbitrary lengths, and we have some specific such as from header, and after that we also accept any UTF characters. In that case, the state generated DFA will be like if first so its DFA will be different
You
figures.
want the marker?
Yes.
Marker.
Oh,
No, erase.
Just there.
Anything.
Okay. Which is
Yeah, you can erase anything.
so I expect for example in the case of from header with some prefix UTF F regex definitions.
Anchored
Yeah,
from.
it will be F and some as a F characters, and this will be like R and different characters. So the complexity of the DFA will be huge.
Yeah, but the thing is like we don't need to worry about it because the crate is mostly creating the DFA, so that's fine.
Yeah, it's possible, but the number.
Oh, you're saying the constraint in the
number of
circle
constraints.
constraint.
Yeah, yes.
Ah.
Because state transition will become more complex. The number of constraints will increase.
Mm.
Yes, this is my my concern about this approach, and actually I had a similar problem when I designed the how to GKML with the same idea.
I mean, so like cutting it short, we don't have any implementation right now where if the state transition is not feasible, then the proof is not getting generated basically, and we need that logic. Because in general, what happens in parsing DFAs is that if the current state has no option to go to any other state with the current input, it fails. It says that okay, yeah, there is no other input. Whatever you're trying to parse is not feasible for this regex. But when we try to do it for circom, the loop just fails. So like all the zeros are there, but that doesn't make any difference. It just continues the loop and tries to look for it somewhere down the line as well. And if it catches, then it says okay, I found it. So which is wrong, I feel. So I don't know like how would we handle that in circom.
Yeah, so
Like is there like I don't know, but like can't there just be like some logic where we can put that okay, if it's A, then move to the next state. If it's not A, then you're done with it, output 0. Like, I think it boils down to this just.
yes, first so I understand that if we always go back to zero state, it makes a new security weak points and actually this is why we have some additional constraints like its consecutive constraints or checking that its state changed. So and in your approach I think your approach is more secure with the simpler mechanisms, but I think it makes the state DFA very complex. So, for example, we can compare which approach is more efficient.
Yeah, I mean, if the DFA is getting more complicated, the previous approach was like have the DFA as an anchor DFA, and then manually try to handle the anchoring. But I don't know about how
manually as in
robust.
outside of the
So
follow.
as in like okay, if the user inputs this, then create the anchor DFA for this. So the anchor DFA of it would be something like this.
Yeah, just
Yeah. And then manually capture that, oh, I saw the caret in the regex. So if the first transition is not A in circom, then give output 0. But this manual catching I feel is not robust, because like this is not the only way the anchoring can be done. It can be done like this anyway. So what I wanted to do was like let the regex crate handle all the DFA creation, like the entire DFA, the anchoring and non-anchoring everything, and we just focus on conversion of like DFA to circom basically, because we would be guaranteed that the DFA is correct at least.
Maybe my question is, when you have these anchors, what exactly does a DFA look like? Because like, if it's actually taking this stuff into account, then we can figure out like, okay, what does this look like? Can we encode it in circom efficiently?
I mean, it's not easy to predict.
The problem is the caret can come in between as well.
Yeah, it can be in between
Yeah.
as well, the regex. So we can't just say, okay, if it's in the beginning, or we can't even just say.
What if you take the inputs of all carets as a indexes of all carets as a input to the circuit, private input, and then.
But it seems to me the DFA, like the DFA of like this regex, like /n caret 8 is very simple. It's just like anything can go to /n, and /n directly goes to A, which proceeds, and anything that's not A, so A, is labeled incorrectly, and then not A goes back to like here, or whatever, right?
No,
It goes back to like here or something.
I think it
Like
just.
this.
I think
So-
it just goes to a dead state.
No, what does this really mean? /n caret meaning?
It means the next line should start with A.
So this,
So yeah, okay.
this will match like it.
Oh
this
yeah,
will-
yeah, right. Oh, so the caret is not the start of the whole sentence; it's the start.
Yeah,
of
exactly.
The
It's the start of the new
Start of
line.
the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not the start of the string.
Oh, right. That is a problem.
I mean, here's one funny thing we could do. Every single string that gets passed in, we prefix it with /n.
Yeah.
That is like, again, I don't want to do some hacky solution like that is like.
Isn't that more elegant though? And then caret just becomes a, because that's what caret is. Caret is a /n checker, right?
But can we check that? So when your point is you add this caret to each beginning of each line, or but in that case.
No, but it can happen in between as well, right? Like you want to do a regex for like 2 lines, and then the first line /n caret, then the continuation.
For the
Yeah,
first
so
line, you don't even need /n. You can just have caret directly, because like that is the starting of everything. So you can have caret, then the first line, then new line, and if you don't mention anything, then you can start with anything.
Yeah. So what I'm suggesting is we replace.
No, even if you insert /n at the beginning, there is still this /n caret can appear in between,
No,
right?
but in the beginning, if you're having like /n, that means enter and then the next line. That is not equivalent to the line itself.
Right.
So what I would say is, if we modify the input string itself, or in a very dynamic way, but we still have to use the original string for the RC verification. So I think it's difficult to check that and make a constraint that
Right.
this modified input character for regex is equal to the original regex for RS verification.
But if it's very simple modification, like /n is added in the beginning, we can of course do that, right?
But then,
And
how
circle
can we
doesn't
make a
have
constraint
negative
like,
numbers, right?
or if the
It has with more.
That's just part of the regex checker.
So it loops around.
So
Yeah.
the regex takes the input string
Yeah.
and assigns them to indexes 1 through n, and index
If you
0
have
is
a
just a
caret, what's the
/n.
condition we need to assert? If you have a caret, then the previous one should be /n.
No. So it's like the caret only means the line should start with A.
Oh, I got that.
Yeah. So it's like it's /n means the next line should start with A. If it would have been /n A, then you could have written /n like next line BCD and then A, and that still would
Yeah.
work.
Okay.
Wait, is that the case though? I just want to confirm.
Yeah, I checked. Yeah, what you said just I just checked it on.
No, but like without the caret.
Without the caret is slash n a. Oh, it's a good question.
No, slash and b will pass.
This would pass.
Ed should pass.
But this is not.
It doesn't pass.
So what's the?
What is the difference between this and
Yeah.
that? Yeah, it's very unclear to me.
I don't know this then. Both of them are passing. So it's explicitly says like cap and.
No, you need to put something here, right? Let's say. Okay. Now without this. Now with this it's not passing, and without this.
Is also not
okay,
passing.
not passing.
That makes sense because that just means the next character. Sorry, go ahead. The next character needs the next character needs to be the same.
So
Wait, so
the
then why does it matter?
caret can only appear with slash n.
I said, what the hell does it even mean slash and caret?
I mean the thing is that it explicitly says causes cap and dollar to match the beginning and end of each line bracket, not only the beginning and end of string.
What is the purpose?
I mean, if it's not like.
I mean, okay, then a lot of complexity will get reduced.
If it's not a common thing, we can not support certain characters.
Yeah, and we just detect it and then we say
We can throw in
not allowed.
like if the input has this.
Yeah. I mean, there are only 4 cases.
No.
There are only 4 cases in which caret comes though.
Sorry, what is the difference?
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hello and no caret. Because ed. Sorry, maybe this is a repeating question. I don't understand. Where's the pen?
Ayush has another.
Here.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, so what is the difference of, for example, it already means
Yeah.
yeah,
We are trying to figure that out as well.
yeah, because it should be consecutive here.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, can it mean negation if it's after a new line? No, right?
No. It means negation only inside square bracket.
Only inside square bracket.
Yeah.
Do you want order?
No, in fact.
Okay.
I think I missed a C.
So I'm trying to construct something where you constrain to a caret but you don't have a slash n. Like somehow you represent slash n in previous characters. Aha, okay, I've constructed a regex in which a caret in the middle changes the behavior. Right, so here, like, if there's no caret in the middle, it'll match this because not E will match the slash n, and then the F and the C, but then if we add the caret in, it'll stop matching because D had to be at the beginning of the line.
Can you just remove F? No.
So now if we remove F, now this will always match regardless of whether the caret is there or not. But what I'm saying is, what this proves is that we can't just replace caret by a slash n and call it a day.
Yeah.
Well, no, we can. Wait, can we? No, we
No,
can't.
no,
we
we
can't.
can't,
We can't.
we
We can't.
can't.
We can't because if we replace caret by the slash n, then it would no longer match.
Yeah.
It would no longer match. Replace caret by slash. Wait, yeah, we can. No.
Can you just like try?
Yeah, why can't we replace caret by slash n?
No.
How much should we trust this website?
Oh, this one. We have
A lot. Yeah, this is like the main one.
I mean, I haven't had any discrepancy with this in any other compiler till now. Also throwing it out there, if I remember correctly, for unanchored regex, it has any number of characters and any character before the actual regex. But for the end, for after that, like after matching the regex, it has any characters only one number of time. I don't know why that is the behavior.
Like in our current implementation.
No, in general, the Rust regex create implementation. So if it is unanchored, it can have anything before any number of times, but it can only have once, like anything after that. I don't know why is it that so. And I think that not even anything, only one extra byte.
What do you mean one anything? One anything means like everything, right? So,
No.
okay, 1 byte.
1 byte, yeah. So that's only like 256, like whatever UTF-8 encoding is.
So I think your current compiler is based on the decomposed approach. And my question is, what happens if we regard this any UTF-8 characters as a separated decomposed part from the main part? So it's right.
We can do, so what can we do is, this is long. So then we can do something like, where, so you're saying if A is there and you want to do this unanchored thing, but you want the any UTF-8 part separately as a
Yes, it means as in your new approach, this regex go to
you want
invert.
this thing separate.
Yes.
Yeah, so what we can do is that for A, we can have the anchored approach, and this will create this thing, and then we can have dot asterisk,
Yes.
and then this will create the entire DFA.
Yeah.
And like I have the logic of combining these two DFAs.
So
together.
how is this path from here to here will be generated?
So this will have multiple accepting states.
Yeah.
So all of them will go to the next state for any type of character.
So in the case of just A, how do this regex generated?
So
So
wait.
it means dot
No, again, okay, so
Hey.
Oh, thank you. Oh, perfect. Okay.
For you?
Yeah, I need this. This is for the. Oh no, HDMI. Wait, I
No,
wanted USB to
I
USB-C.
asked for
Oh,
this.
you needed this. Okay,
Yeah.
I need USB to USB-C. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah.
Why you need USB to USB?
So,
You
so
already
this is
have
not like
HDMI.
any
For-
UTF-8, I think. No.
That's HDMI.
Yeah, I think this.
Oh, you don't want the HDMI?
Not all.
Yeah.
I want
this
USB
is
to USB-C.
minus
Oh, I see.
A.
Yeah, yes.
Maybe I have.
Ah, okay, fine. So in that case, so essentially, so my question is,
Wait, so
Okay.
Salil, can't I do something like this in Circom where let's suppose I have a variable that's 1, and it is supposed to multiply at the end of like whatever the output currently is, and I have this if statement where okay, if the starting is not this, then multiply this variable by 0, and whatever the output comes at the end, it'll be 0.
Yeah, we can do that, but like it's not necessarily at the start, right?
No, for it's not.
So we can handle this, or we can handle this, but this
Okay.
might be more difficult.
So this is what I'm proposing. Like, let's just abstract that out and just consider we have a DFA. We only have a DFA, and we want to strictly parse that DFA in Circom.
Mm.
So it's like okay, caret and everything is getting handled by the compiler.
Mm.
So when we have a correct DFA supposedly. So how do we parse the DSA strictly? Because right now this DFA is not getting parsed strictly. It's like even if it is present anytime, like even once in the entire input, it'll still get parsed as 1. But if you strictly want to parse the DFA,
Okay. No, I don't know. I need to look at the current implementation and see this stuff. But we can have. So what if we have the index of carrots as a input signal,
in that case,
and then can we constrain something with that?
I mean, again,
Like
this is
so
not.
you don't
Okay.
treat that as part of DFA.
Alright, I have a proposal. Okay, here's my proposal. Alright, so our code says if caret like detected in regex,
Anywhere.
anywhere, it, log that all this meaning start of line not input should use /n instead, and then treat all caret as start of input. Okay, here's my proposal.
You mean like instead of log throw?
So like, yeah, log throw, whatever. Well, no, because it's very hard to tell the difference between like this and a caret used somewhere. Like this is okay,
Okay,
but like,
so this
but
will be
like you know,
supported.
like this is like not okay or something.
Mhm.
But then also like this is like it seems very unclear. If we detect any caret, say like do not use caret to mean beginning of line,
Mm.
only use /n, which is fine because anybody ever referring to a caret in the middle of a regular expression to mean start of line can always just use /n instead. And so
So we agree on like a case like this is not needed at all.
not needed at all, and we can log it. But the problem is we can't detect cases like this, right? Because someone might have some regex which is like, you know, like this or something. How are we gonna know that this means like this
Yeah.
corresponds to this case? So I think we can detect. We can have some heuristics, like we can say like we make the detection a little bit cleaner. Like okay, like if we see like any /n followed by any caret in the string, then like have like a big warning sign saying like oh like please pay attention to this a lot. But in the problem is we might have something which is like /n and then like Anyway, the point is, like, anytime we see a caret in the string, just be like, don't use it to mean beginning of line, use /n instead. That's like better regex practice, which it kind of is. Like, yeah, like there's no reason to ever say like /n. Like there's no reason anyone to ever say this.
Okay, but like my only issue is like handling these things manually is worse than having a one-to-one correspondence of a DFA to circom. Like, can't we just really have a tight circom implementation of a DFA?
Like no, because it's caret problem, right?
No, the caret would automatically be handled by the compiler.
Yes, one-time-one problem of one-time-one solution is the complexity of the constraints. Yes, we can implement that, but
I mean, I'll do it. Just like tell me how to do it. That's the only thing.
No, I mean what Sora is telling is that it might lead
You
up
need
to
number
like
of constraints in the circuit, right?
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry, my proposal doesn't work because sorry. Here's the problem, right? Here's why is because someone can pass in a regex which says like this, and then the input, like this input needs to pass.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Oh.
And we currently only interpret.
Oh, that
this.
needs to pass. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm trying to say. Let the compiler create the DFA, and then just focus on converting the DFA into a circum circuit.
That would be the ideal case if we can do it. If we can do it like without increasing so many constraints.
yeah.
Oh.
So
Yeah, I would say like we support less if you can bring down the constraints drastically.
Like, are we really sure that it'll like just boom the constraints, or are we?
Like I'm fine with a 10% increase in constraints. That doesn't affect anybody.
We don't know if it.
You are thinking like, okay, the K-mill is already taking up like
Yeah.
2 million and it's only like 100K more.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like what if someone else wants to use this for something else?
Then we can have a flag which is like handle carets, and you can disable it if you want. Or we automatically disable that flag if we detect the string has no carets in it or something.
See,
Right? Like it's like one of these configuration flags.
Right now, I think it will work fine if we are saying that we support unanchored regex. That is the easiest way.
And would that be sufficient for?
The circuit is implemented in a way that it detects like, okay, if the state changes are satisfied in any of the bytes from the input, then I'll output 1. That is what the circuit is doing right now, and that is like the unanchored version.
It's okay in email because you will have a bunch of steps before anyway.
But the ZK regex is supposed to be a generic
Yeah.
library.
Yeah, so. Yeah.
You know what this implies to me is that you know how a current regex does like this, right? Like we could just replace that with just like this if we actually did this correctly.
Yeah, that would be better.
It's kind of funny.
So I'm interested in one-to-one solution. So I wonder if we can implement this complex prefix index UTF-8 parse in a more efficient way. If we can do that, we can go to the one-to-one solution.
I mean, it is the most effective way because like it's the min DFA as much as you can do that.
For
And
UTF-8.
efficient means the number of constraints.
Yeah, okay. Then we,
Yeah.
I don't think so there is any way to know until we actually implement it.
Yeah.
But at least like, do you have an idea of like how the implementation will work? Like I'll code that at least.
No, I don't know the current implementation actually. Sorry.
Yes. So
But like, if that's the only case, then we can just like throw errors on anchor rejections and then close this version, and in the next version we can do it.
yeah. So
This is I think 50 line of circom if you want to see the current implementation.
Okay.
So I expect we can fix all of the security bugs audit chain reported in a current approach with some implementation small fixes. But it still has it has many heuristic paths, so it does not have any theoretical guarantee that it can handle any path, any regex correctly. So, but in the one-to-one approach,
Wait, what?
in the current approach,
Okay.
because it has many heuristic
Yeah,
approach.
true.
But in the one-to-one solution, as long as external DFA or library generates the
Correct.
DFA correctly, I expect it has some theoretical guarantee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And like I trust that crate more than these few tweaks that we are doing.
Yeah.
Because like I feel these would create a lot of edge cases that would not be visible in the first site.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would be an issue.
So by the way, in the case of this just a Regex and one-to-one solution, we can easily say this Regex will be any character except for A. But how can we generate the corresponding prefix Regex in general?
Oh wait. So this was something which I wanted to ask, I think, when I was implementing. So what happens in Regex is that in most of the cases there is a range for transition.
Yeah.
But in the current implementation, there were individual elements, and that increased the circuit side a lot. Because I feel like if we can have like 50 transitions within the same range, and then that range is getting checked in the Surcom code, like is the next character within this range? If yes, then move to the next state.
We already did it actually. As long if some multiple characters is consecutive, we instead of doing the is equal constraints for each character, we make
We
the
take the range.
range constraints for the.
Okay. Good.
Oh, sorry, I have to. I mean, this hack would then work as if you replaced all carets with /n and add /n at the start of the input. But again, that's kind of a hack.
Oh, you wanted to add a /n in the input as well.
So like, the first character of the input becomes /n.
But how would we do that? Like the input is getting feeded by the user.
No, but we just say like the regex compiler like adds a dummy fake character which is /n.
Okay. By the way, the circuit that I've given you is the wrong implementation. So it's like it will pass both A, B, and it will pass anything before.
DAB,
and then,
yeah.
DAB will also pass, which it shouldn't basically.
Can you send it to me? Telegram. how does zk REPL restore zk email? Do you
Huh?
know this?
What?
In zk REPL I included zk email circum and it still resolves this.
Resolves this, yeah. Like the package?
Yeah.
Yeah, I added it.
Oh, you added this. Okay. I didn't know.
Yeah. It's so that you can copy paste directly from ZK Regex and it'll just work.
Yeah.
It's very dumb. It just replaces at ZK email with github.com/ZK email.
So github.com normally works like
Yeah.
even okay.
Yeah, but the nice thing is then you use our npm package
Yeah.
directly. Yeah. But I had to rewrite the whole package import system for ZK REPL to support this because I had some bug with like recursive packages. So if we imported another ZK email package, it would not resolve correctly. So I decided to recursively resolve all at ZK emails to all github.com/ZK emails.
Okay, so this is the problem, right? 100
Yes.
98 works is how this one.
Yes.
Oh, does the ZK Regis compiler now output an example input like this or no?
No, I can.
Can you send this input to me? Just send the sample input to me. Just so I know.
When is the weekly meet? Like in Japan time?
11 p.m.